Now, for us human beings to survive, we need good food. For plants to grow and do well, they need nutrients as well. And also animals, for them to grow and be able to produce at optimum level, they also need absolutely good food. And that's why right here at Kenya's Gold, we took it upon ourselves to come all the way to Kiambu County Poultry Farmers Society, where we are going to learn how to make chicken feeds all the way from scratch until they're ready for chicken consumption. Come along with me. Let us meet our expert of the day. Hi Zachary, how are you?
I'm good, girl.
Thank you so much for having us here at Kiambu County Poultry Farmers. Tungependa sana kujua kazi ambayo mnaendeleza hapa.
Karibu hapa kwetu Kiambu County Poultry Farmers. Hii ni factory yetu pahali tunatengenezea chakula ya kuku, ng'ombe na nguruwe. Lakini sana sana ile tunadeal nayo sana sana ni chakula ya kuku. Is a farmers society, is a marketing society. Penye tulikuja pamoja kwa sababu tuliona tukinunua chakula kutoka nje wala wanatengeneza chakula hatupati faida. Kwa sababu chakula yenye wanautuzia inakuwa kwa bei kali. Alafu quality yake inakuwa imepunguza kidogo.
Now, before you became a coordinator right here at Kiambu County Poultry Farmers, you started out as a chicken farmer. Please tell us what motivated you to get into the space of making your own feeds.
Before I became a poultry farmer, I was an accountant. And then I stopped. I started poultry farming, which I was doing alone. Na ikafika pahali nikuwa peke yangu. Sijiwezeleshi kwa sababu marketing inakuwa ni shida, utafutaji wa vifaranga inakuwa ni shida. So nikaona ya kwamba hata kama fanya nilikuwa ninafanya peke yangu, inafika pahali wakati mwingine nikienda sokoni nakuta kuna mayai imemwagwa kule na ninajikuta ya kwamba ile bei ninapewa pale sio yenye nilikuwa natarajia. So nikapigia wenzangu wale tulikuwa karibu na wao, nikawauliza kama zile taabu niko nazo za kwanza upande wa mayai, upande wa kuuza kuku ambayo tunaita egg layers ambayo imeacha kutaga. Alafu ugonjwa, nikauliza fenye kunaendelea. Na ikafika pahali nikaacha kukua peke yangu, tukaform a group yenye tulikuja kama farmers kadhaa ili tujiunge pamoja, tunajaribu kutafuta solutions kwa mashida zetu.
And now that you have been part of a society, somebody is watching na anashindwa, what are the advantages of me being part of a society? What can you tell them?
Wakati nilikuwa peke yangu, nilikuwa ninaenda hasara kwa sababu pengine ugonjwa umenigonga kwa shamba yangu. Na sielewi ugonjwa ni gani. Hata nikiita daktari, sana sana wale daktari nilikuwa napata ni private veterinarians. Sasa wakati tuliform group, kuna ile kukuja pamoja, kuna watu wengi wanajuana na madaktari tofauti. Kwa hivyo mmoja wetu akiwa na shida, anarecommend ni daktari yupi alimtengenezea chakula, mtengenezea kuku zake na zikakuwa sawa. Ile benefit nyingine ambayo tunafuata tukua pamoja ni ya kwamba when we put together, resources put together, tunaweza tengeneza quality feeds ambayo iko cheap. Kwa sababu beleni, for example, nilikuwa nanunua layers mash at 4,100. Saa hii ninanunua 3,600. So every bag I'm saving 500 shillings, between 500 shillings and 600 shillings per bag of feeds.
So when you were starting out, how many farmers were you?
When we came together as a society, we were like 700 farmers, and most of them were active. Either they were doing broilers, ama kienyeji, ama the other commercial layers.
And how many are we now?
Right now we are almost 100.
There's a steady decline. What would you say is the reason?
There's a big decline because when we formed a cooperative society, most of our farmers were not able to reaccess loans after the COVID hit. The biggest problem started when the COVID hit because the market deteriorated, tukakuwa na shida ya utengenezaji wa chakula na hata breeders. The breeders that produces the new chicks, wengi walifunga biashara zao. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio imefanya watu wengi wakwe hawajarudi kwa uwanja. Then the prices of feeds became too high. You remember there is a time a bag of maize was going at 6,500. So most of the farmers who went out during that time have not yet been able to come back.
So to be able to make your own feeds and to know the nutrients in the right level, there's a special kind of training that you need to go through. Please talk to us about that training, and also do the other farmers who you serve in the society go through that training as well?
For you to do good quality feeds, you have to have some trainings and seminars, or of course there's workshops. So what we did is that we engaged the experts, because as a society we could be able to employ either a nutritionist, a good veterinary officer, such kind of professionalism. Even going to an extent of having feed analysis from the authorized companies like Carlo and the like. So mostly we do seminars and we do workshops so that we can be able now to know exactly what is required in the farm and in this society.
Talk to me about the professionals and the experts. Are they easily accessible in the service that you're doing?
You can start it cheaply by engaging the Ministry of Livestock. Then, of course, when you engage, they are not as many. We used to call them extension officers. They are not as many as maybe could be required. So sometimes you need to go private, and you engage a private nutritionist or a veterinary or a professional, because sometimes you face problems not only in the factory but also in the farm. So, but mostly in the factory, we normally engage private officials.
So are they costly?
If it's expensive, you cannot compare with the Ministry of the government ministry. There, of course, if one is charging maybe a one-day event, it can take maybe 10,000 shillings. But on the other hand, for the government, you don't pay anything.
Now that you've had a taste of both worlds, kuna wakati ambao ulikuwa na buy ready-made feeds, and also now you're making your own feeds. What can you tell us are the advantages that you have experienced while making your own feeds?
When you make your own feeds, you know the content. You know, when the nutritionist gives you the formulation, you make sure that everything is added into the mixing machines. Unlike the other part of it, when you are buying from the commercial sellers, you don't know what is inside. But currently we know if it is carbohydrate that's required, the energy, the protein, the vitamins, you know exactly the content and the quality and the quantity. It's the correct one. It's not like the other one. You just buy a bag, a closed bag, you don't know what is inside. You go feed your birds. Either you get raw production, or your chicks get some diseases you don't know where it's coming from. Right. But on our case, we are very sure of what you are feeding the birds.
All right. Talk to us about the machinery that is involved in being able to make your own feeds.
You need a machine that we call a mixer. That is the one that mixes the mashes, different types of raw materials into one finished good. Then there is another one that is called the mill. The mill is the major one. That is the one that has a bigger challenge. It consumes a lot of energy, electricity, because it's the one that has hammers and beaters. If, for example, you want to break maize, the whole maize into broken maize, that's why you put, if you have sunflower, that's why you put the raw material so it can be crushed into mush. Like that.
Clearly that machinery is not cheap, all right? And there's a farmer who's wondering, how can I be able to afford this because I want to go into the space of making my own feeds? So my question to you would be, do you have partnerships with financial institutions where they're able to give you loans with probably a small interest, and you're able to buy this machinery and go on with your agricultural practices?
There are many Juakari guys. We are going for Juakari, and they are doing well. So if you get a machine, you can connect your financier to the manufacturer of that machine. Then he get paid, you'll be paying a small amount on a monthly basis. So
when they give you the interest rates, are they too high?
It's fair. You cannot complain much. It's like the ones that are imported. The ones that are imported are relatively high because you have to have the cash ready with you and transportation and the like. But the one that for Juakari, it's fairly.
Now, there is a young person who's watching and is wondering, how do I start to come up with this society? What advice can you give them?
You can start at least 10 members so that you can have a WhatsApp. So what's happening in the market, you put it in the WhatsApp group. Then you know exactly what's happening. Because, for example, I may be having some eggs in my store, and I don't have a market, but somebody has gone to somewhere and I've gotten a market. He will put that into the WhatsApp group. Then I will pick from there. I'll call the person that is buying.
There you've had it. You've had it straight from Zachary, who has talked to us on the importance of being part of a society and also the basics that you need to know when it comes to making your own feeds. In a short while, we will be seeing the action practically in the machines. But for now, we take a short commercial break. But if you do have any question or feedback that you'd like to send through to us, talk to us across all our social social media platforms on Instagram at Kenya's Gold. Our SMS line is 22422 and our email is kenyasgold@royalmedia.co.ke. See you after the break.